Right, and we're back on the bank. Welcome to a new vlog. I am back in Oxfordshire and I am back on linear fisheries. Today I'm targeting B2, mainly because it's probably got the least pressure on it at the moment compared to the other lakes, and I've not been on it for a while, so fancied a little change. Can you hear that? Thunder's on its way. So what are we doing? Well, I had a little scout around, and this bottom end, sort of the shallows I'd call this, there weren't too many people down here. And there were actually quite a few fish showing. So originally I was over on the far side sort of looking. I've seen quite a few fish showing over on this bank. So I decided to quickly nip round here and bucket this swim. I watched the water for a bit and there were quite a few fish showing sort of in a central area. So I sort of picked a mark on the horizon, sort of cast it around a little bit, and lo and behold, there's a lovely little spot out there. It's actually a really hard spot, and then as I bring it a little bit closer to the bank, it goes really smooth and soft, and on the lead I was bringing back like some silty clay. It was sticking to the lead, and so I put it into the soft stuff, and I've given it some bait. Because of the weather, if you look over there and you can probably hear, it's very stormy. We've got real overcast, cloudy, real muggy, stormy weather. We've had a load of rain already. As you can see, everything is absolutely soaked and looking a bit sorry for itself, but it's perfect conditions for fishing on the bottom and hopefully getting their ends down. So I've gone in straight away with about 12 spoms. I've had a funny little bite not long after putting the bait out, which was a bit of a drop back, but there was nothing there. So I've topped it up with about 5 or 6 more. I'm going to keep putting in little and often, keep trickling some bait in, and hopefully we can build up a bit of a feeding response and get them going. I have only got 24 hours or maybe a little bit more than 24 hours till tomorrow evening. So hopefully I can get the fish responding to some bait and get a few on the bank. Before we get this vlog started, I do want to say, please check out the Instagram feed. It is a really good thing to follow if you want to stay in touch with what I'm doing and also what Hugh's doing when he's out on the bank. We actually do the stories, Instagram stories, so it's a really good way of keeping up to date on where we're going, and then you kind of know in advance what kind of vlogs are probably going to be coming out. So you never know, we might do some updates like today, I might do some updates, and you're going to know probably a week or two in advance as to what kind of vlog's going to be coming out, and if it's a venue you're looking at going to, you know you can watch it. So check out at the Fishing Bloggers on Instagram, and also make sure you like and follow the page on Facebook, which is the Fishing Bloggers TV. Keep in touch. We regularly update those, update them more than YouTube, so obviously it's a lot easier to update, so definitely worth checking those out and following those. But anyway, I don't want to babble too much. Let's get into this vlog and let's try and catch some fish. It's absolutely pouring down. Just as I was putting a bit of bait out, the heavens opened, and as you can probably see, I've got a little bit wet. The weather is absolutely perfect, it really is. You couldn't sort of ask for better weather at the moment. We've had a whole stint of really warm, hot weather, and now we're getting this real stormy, heavy rain. You know, it's still warm and mild, but you're getting this fresher water sort of cooling it off. So hopefully it's going to happen and we're going to have a few. I've put a bit of bait in just because the conditions are just telling me to give them some food. Yeah, it's looking good. Today's tea is 2 sirloin steaks and some low-fat noodles covered in cheese. Lush. Morning then. So it's been quite a good night. I managed to fish early hours of this morning, about 4 o'clock or just after. The left hand rod went rattling off and I was into battle. Not a bad one, £26 plus. It's quite a nice chunky mirror, so I was pretty happy with that. I got a bit of video footage and did a few photos, and I think they've come out pretty well, so yeah, I was quite happy with that. I thought I might have had a couple more because I did put a bit of bait in, but they must not have been there in numbers and I must have just picked off that fish. But nice to have her on the bank, and obviously it saved the blank and made the session worthwhile. But I want to try and capitalise on the session and try and make more of it. Hopefully we can try and get a couple more before I have to go home this afternoon. So I was up at a reasonable time this morning, and I was scanning the water a little bit, and I seen a couple of fish show down to my left, and I'm quite surprised because the wind has actually switched and it's going now from left to right, which I thought might carry the fish out of the swim, but there are fish showing down to the left. So what I've done is I've put a zig out on the middle rod. I've put a little bit of sloppy mix in with the main feed that I was using last night on the deck, and hopefully that's just going to create a bit of a cloud every time I put a spot out, just to try and sort of activate the fish to maybe sort of try and pick off the zigs. I've only got one out at the moment, but we'll play it by ear, see what happens, and if I do get anything on it, I'll probably switch them over to zigs. Maybe fish 2 zigs, one on the bottom, chop and change, just see how it goes and see what we can do. In here, this is what I'm putting over the top of my zig rigs. Now at the moment I'm currently fishing 1 rod on a bottom bait, and 2 rods on zigs, and I'm varying the depths at which I've got the zigs at to try and find them. Unfortunately I haven't had anything on them yet, but it's just how it is. On the right day you can absolutely slaughter the fish on zig rigs, you really can. Now what I've got in here is essentially the mix I used last night to get the fish down on the bottom, grubbing around in the silt. I've basically used what I had left, which was a combination of whole boilies, boilie crumb, broken up boilies, mix of different sized pellets, and I had a few other little bits in there as well. But basically it's just heavier stuff which is going to get down on the deck. And basically I left that with some water, some lake water, just to sort of soften it all up so it went a bit stodgy. And then to that I've added my zig ground bait essentially, which is a real fluffy ground bait, light coloured ground bait mix with a few little bits of particle stuff in it. And I've essentially mixed it all together with some water, and I've ended up with this big sloppy mess. I've put a little bit of sweet corn in it as well, just to give it a flashy yellow, and that is pretty much what I'm putting out on there. Now what happens is that goes out, obviously all the ground bait side of things, that all clouds up the water and creates like a nice cloud in the water column. The smaller bits sort of flutter down slowly, and then the bigger boilie pieces and the heavier bits of pellets, things like that, they obviously sink down to the bottom. It just gives you a nice column of attraction, and then you can fish your zigs in that, and then you can have one on the bottom, so it just creates like a column of attraction. And hopefully any fish coming through, cruising around, maybe looking around on the bottom, you've got a rig in sort of all areas, so hopefully you can nail one. That's the tactics. I'm going to keep pursuing with it. I've only got a few hours to go, and there's now a plane coming over which is probably ruining my audio, but we're going to keep going, see if we can get one. I've got a couple of hours to go. Hopefully we can get another one for the camera. Right, quick update for you then. I put 2 bottom baits out for the past hour and only 1 zig, as the guy opposite me had a couple of fish. And since then I've just seen a couple of fish roll to my right in front of the trees quite close in. So I've brought one of the bottom baits in, put a fresh hook bait on it, and I'm just going to put a tiny little PVA bag on the hook and just dip it in some Sticky Baits Manila glug. I'm just going to flick it out to where I've seen the fish showing. I know it's quite a shallow area, as I did a little bit of plumbing with the marker flow as I got set up yesterday, and I think it's about 5 or 6 foot, so potentially the fish could be coming along this edge looking for a bit of food. They're rolling along there, so I'm going to quickly get this rod out. Hopefully I can get some on that. Right, and I was literally just about to do an ending update, basically, just to sort of round up what's happened. And I had the 3 rods laid on the ground, everything was packed down, and a hooking mat, pretty much just a net and 3 rods out. I was on my way to literally pack up pretty much. I was literally just taking a leak, and then I was going to bring the rods in. I was just sort of there having a wee. I thought, what's that noise? I had that old lovely sound of the clutch starting to purr. The rod that I'd cast onto a showing fish started going off. And I had this 21 pound 6 ounce, so not too bad, another 20. And yeah, bit of a random bite, but kind of what I was hoping. Someone might pick up that little single with a little bag. I've flicked down the down to the right where some fish were showing quite a bit, so lovely fish. And right way to end the session. I was getting a little bit frustrated that I'd only had the one. Nice to finish off with another, so cracking. Right, and so that was a nice little result. I'm going to bring this rod in now and get going. So I'm going to end it here. That's me done, and I'm going to get going home. Work in the morning. Great. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and share it around. We appreciate any sort of support. If you can give it a share, that's much appreciated. Hit that subscribe button if you're not a subscriber, and if you are, thank you for following us. Check out the Instagram at the Fishing Bloggers, and also follow the Facebook page Fishing Bloggers TV. Got that mouthful out. Right, that's me done. I'm reeling that guy in and getting going. If you're going out on the bank, be lucky, and see you again soon. Tie lines.